Boxing Day! So, what we're going to be looking at specifically is Boxing Day. Now, many of us have heard of Boxing Day, and some of you may even, to one extent or another, practice it. But for the most part, American Christmas is no longer really included. For a lot of people, the most they're familiar with it is just it says it on the calendar. You know, UK and Canada, right? And Boxing Day. What is Boxing Day? And even those that still observe it, typically it is dramatically different than what it would have been for the colonists here, or what they were familiar with back home in England. In the early 17th century, Christmas Day itself at the time was the primary religious observance. That's where you're going to be focused. Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, December 26th, is the gift-giving day, essentially. And at that time, traditionally, the gifts are basically going from the top down. And so it's going to be the day that the church is breaking open the alms box and distributing donations to the poor. It's going to be traditionally when heads of households are distributing gifts, whether they be material gifts like passing down gently used clothing and that kind of thing, or distributing money, cash, what have you, to either lesser family, younger family members, lesser family members, or lesser members of the household servants, that sort of thing. And it spans throughout the English social classes. So whether we're looking at lords distributing gifts to the younger sons of gentry they have working for them as servants, or we're looking at tradesmen, distributing gifts to the journeymen that work in their shops, or what have you. It's a sliding scale all the way down, that those that have the ability to give, and typically again are in that position of being the employer, if you will, the master, then distributing gifts, again, either in kind or in cash, to those under them typically within their household. As the colonies evolve here, the practice maintains for a while, but evolves pretty rapidly. By the 18th century, for instance, it has largely evolved into those property owners who owned enslaved peoples distributing gifts to the people whom they enslaved. And this is going to be one of the things that we see kind of lead to the falling out of the tradition in this country, as we are as the practice of slavery is ended, since that tradition had evolved from the master giving to the enslaved. As the practice of slavery ends, that structure of giving sort of ends. It doesn't get sort of transferred to another social structure, and so that's sort of that evolution of Boxing Day, and then sort of the waning and ending of Boxing Day here in this country, why we don't really see it done anymore. And now the tradition has become to, on Christmas Day itself, give gifts. And, well, there isn't as much structure to it now. It goes in all directions, right? All gifting everybody things. But that's what you would have seen originally. Would have been those sort of at the top of the pecking order, if you will, giving gifts to those under them. And that's, of course, only the second day of Christmas. There's 10 more to go. And so in the future, we'll be taking a closer look at additional Christmas practices that we as modern Americans are often less familiar with. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you next time.